Okay, class, we're going to continue with Unit 2, Part 3 Study Guide. So here we're starting with some arithmetic sequence work, and they're asking about a recursive definition. So we know what the recursive formula is, and we know that it's two parts. The first part is going to be your first term, and the second part is going to be your formula with the common difference. So 3 is the common difference, 9 is the first term. Now with that information, I could list some of the terms if I wanted to. If it starts with 9 and it goes up by 3, that means I'll have 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, so on and so forth. So the sequence looks like this. Now, if I need to give an expression for the nth term, that means an expression for no matter what term I'm asked for. If I'm asked to find the 30th term, the 59th term, the 100th term, whatever n is, I should be able to use an expression that I can substitute in the value of the term number they're asking me to find and then calculate it without having to list 35 terms or 50 terms or 100 terms. So in order to do that, what we want to do is, well, there's two ways to do it. We could actually take the information that we have, which is the 9, 12, 15, 18, and we could put that into a table, a linear table, XY table, and find the slope and the y-intercept. That is not a bad way to do it because you're familiar with tables. Another way we could do this is we could take it out of recursive formula and put this into an explicit formula. And remember, the explicit formula, I'm sure you can recite it. The explicit formula of an arithmetic sequence is, what is it? A sub n equals, what's next? A sub 1 plus parentheses n minus 1 d. And d is your common difference. If we put this sequence in this form, how will it look? It will be a sub n equals, what's the first term? 9 plus n minus 1, and the common difference was 3. So I'm going to put the squeeze the 3 right there so I won't run off the paper. All right. Now, let me rewrite that under here because that's going to help us get this expression. So I have 9 plus n minus 1 times 3. So if I actually simplify this, what I mean by that is use the distributive property, right? And get 9 plus, what's 3 times n? 3n. What's 3 times 1? Negative 1, negative 3. And then if I combine my like terms, 9 minus 3, I'll end up with 6 plus 3n. This is the expression that will help me find any term, the nth term, no matter what n is for this expression. So again, to answer this question, you can rewrite it using the explicit formula and then actually simplify using the distributive property, which some students have started doing and which we are going to do the next go round. All right? Okay. And if you need more help with that, we'll talk about it in class. Number 17, examine the sequence of integers below. Give the explicit form. That's what we just talked about above. The explicit form is a sub n equals a sub 1 plus parentheses n minus 1 d. And of course, we know to write the explicit form, you write it exactly the way it is. The only thing you change is a sub 1 is the first term, which is negative 16. Keep the plus, keep the parentheses n minus 1, and then the d will be your common difference. So we got to figure out the common difference. So what is going on from here to here? It has to be the same thing from here to here. Same here, and here. And it looks like what they're doing is adding 6 each time. So the common difference is 6. And we have written the explicit form of that sequence. Number 18. A migrating salmon is 50 miles from home. It continues to travel away from home at a rate of 25 miles a day. Give the expression for the distance a salmon is from home after traveling for n days. All right, so if n is representing the days, it goes 25 miles each day. That's represented as 25 n. And then he's already 50 miles from home, so plus 50. There it is. And let's do one more before we wrap up this video. Let's see, number 19. And the question is, which function represents the data in the table? So here we've got 4 functions, and good news is they're all in slope-intercept form. Take a look at that. Great, great. So if we actually find the slope of this table, I think we'll be halfway there. But then we may need to find the y-intercept too. But at least finding the slope will eliminate some of these choices. How do we find slope? Slope formula. M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we need to pick any 2 points that we want. Doesn't matter which 2. I'll pick these 2 because I like whole numbers. So that means I subtract the y's. So 6 minus 4 over subtract the x's, 10 minus 6. 6 minus 4 gives me 2. 10 minus 6 gives me 4, so that's 1/2. That means my slope is going to be 1/2. Let's clear that up. Slope is 1/2. So I can eliminate A and D. All right. Now, I need to know if my y-intercept is -1 or +1. So what I'm going to do is, one of the easiest ways to find the y-intercept is to take one of these points. You probably did this in 8th grade. So if I want to find the y-intercept, and remember the y-intercept is B. If I want to find the y-intercept, I can solve for B. What that means is I need to fill in a y. I have the slope and an x. Where can I get a y and an x from? The table. See? So I can pick any one of these points again, plug them in place of the y and the x, put the slope in there, and then solve for B. So let's pick 6 and 4. So 4, when y is 4, I'm going to use this one. I like these points. So y is 4 equals, now for my slope, instead of 1/2, I'm going to make it 0.5, which is the same as 1/2. It's just a decimal. So this x, when y is 4, x is 6. So I need to put 6 in place of the x plus b. Now I need to solve for b. That means I need to, 4 is equal to 6 times 0.5 is, well, it's 3. Because remember, 0.5 was 1/2. So half of 6 is 3. Okay. Plus b. Remember, I need to solve for b. I'm trying to find my y-intercept, right? Because it's either going to be -1 or +1. So how do I solve for b? Get the b by itself. That means get rid of the 3. Subtract 3 from both sides. Cancel it here. 4 minus 3 is 1. Equals, and b is left. So my slope, my y-intercept, my b is 1. So the answer has to be this one. Because it wasn't -1. It was +1. All right. So we'll see you on the next video.